Yo, what up, y'all? It's your boy Dollars. Welcome back to the channel. We got another Gotham Knights video. This time I'm going to be checking out how skill trees work in the game. So without further ado, let's just hop right into this and check it out.
Gotham Knights has an unexpected philosophy at its heart. While it might be a game about 4 superheroes trying to fill the void left by a murdered Batman, the developers don't want you to feel like you're creating 4 successors. They want you to find a favorite and turn them into a single, new Dark Knight.
We always understood that there had to be a sense by the end of the story and by the end of your kind of investment in the hero that you have in some way transcended the obvious potential of this character in order to become a
I like
symbol.
these suits
This is
right
one who I
there.
believe
That's dope.
can fill the vacuum.
She looks more like Batwoman than Batgirl though, with the covering of her chin.
Batman has left behind. So that's such an essential aspect of the fantasy that we felt like there needed to be a moment where that was reflected in the ability tree, where it was reflected in the kind of RPG foundations of the game.
With that overall philosophy in mind, a game mechanic that has you constantly changing and experimenting with new techniques feels apt. Gotham Knights offers a lot of options in that regard, from new superhero suits to ability-changing gear, but it doesn't make that idea clearer than in its skill trees.
The main abilities that you see on the ability tree are abilities that you unlock after you've earned ability points. And that's something that's a natural function of leveling up in the sort of standard RPG way. You get XP, you level up, you get some ability points, and there's, dependencies and prerequisites like you would normally see in an action RPG, but that is the gating mechanism for those abilities. You're spending points, you're deciding where you want to spend them.
Of course, with 4 different heroes, you're likely to want to experiment, and the game accounts for that without feeling like you're leaving anyone behind while not playing with them.
Batgirl's going to be
we're a
faster
multi-protagonist game,
than everybody else.
We expect that a lot of players are going to kind of identify fairly quickly that, okay, I like this hero, this character matches my style of play, I'm invested in their progression and in their evolution, I want to play that character for a long time. That said, there's 3 other heroes that you may decide at some point it would be interesting for you to try, and that you want to be able to jump into playing without feeling like you're being penalized or need to go back and redo a whole bunch of work in order to kind of get them advanced.
Yeah, that makes
So then
sense.
what happens is, if you decide to switch characters, basically you now have a kind of surplus of ability points that you can go into the menu and spend. You'll sit there, you'll allocate them, you can look at the whole ability tree, you can decide what you want to have access to.
The skill trees themselves are made up of a mix of ability or stat-changing upgrades, but the paths they take you down are purposely varied, allowing you to build different versions of the same hero. Batgirl can specialize in one-on-one melee combat, but she can also focus on hacking abilities or survivability. Nightwing can build on his acrobatics, but can also offer massive buffs for co-op play. Robin can improve on his preternatural talents for stealth, but he could equally work on tech that helps provide decoys or enhance elemental effects. And in this footage, we're showing off all of Red Hood's trees in their
Damn,
totality.
Red Hood looks the
So
dopest,
the marksman
though.
tree is kind of self-explanatory. It's really about dealing more damage at range. That skill tree focuses mostly on damage per second and rewards for shooting and rewards for taking the time to use precision aim. The brawler skill tree is about...
My question is, if you get enough ability points, can't you just unlock everything? Like, you'll unlock all the abilities and then they all play the same. Like, they'll all be marksmen and brawlers, or you can only enhance a specific thing of a character. I don't know. Let's see.
melee combat, but more importantly, it's about powering up the fact that Red Hood is our largest character, and he's got the best grab and throw mechanics in Gotham Knights. That's a really, sort of brutal hand-to-hand focused skill tree. So if you're into that style of play, it's a great place to invest early to get the most out of Red Hood. The Vengeance tree is essentially reflecting Red Hood's rage in different ways. He can be an intimidating character. It's sort of about leveraging parts of his personality
Increases
and embodying
damage.
them as abilities that allows him to be more frightening and to deal more damage against certain types of enemies that he is truly angry inside about.
Now, you may have noticed that there's a 4th tree on that list, Knighthood. Perhaps the most interesting of all the ability options, Knighthood is available for every character and represents a moment of self-actualization where your hero has worked out how they can become their own Dark Knight, rather than just a new Batman. Knighthood will begin to unlock after a specific point in the story, but every character will have to complete a set of unique challenges to begin earning the abilities inside.
Unlocking the knighthood tree gives you a couple of things. It unlocks the heroic traversal for that hero. So if you're Batgirl, suddenly you can glide. It unlocks your ultimate.
So you can't glide already? That should be like given to all of them, you know, because they have capes. Well, I don't think Nightwing doesn't have a cape, so I don't know how he would glide, but he definitely has a grappling hook. You know, Robin has a cape. Red Hood doesn't have a cape either. But yeah, Batgirl should be able to fly. Like, you shouldn't have to unlock that.
Ability for Batgirl, that's the drone. And it unlocks the knighthood ability tree where you can start to add additional very powerful mechanics to your hero that are otherwise not available to you until that point in the story.
Once you've unlocked knighthood for one character, you don't need to go and do the story beat again for the other heroes in order to gain access to that progression.
Okay.
But you'll need to go out and do the challenges for that hero that are associated with these additional abilities.
Knighthood is a truly interesting combination of narrative and mechanic, a way of using traditional RPG ideas to help tell the story of Gotham Knights' budding heroes.
So literally, there is a moment where it's possible for you to kind of have this epiphany with your character, right? It can be the moment that Robin's.
So this is basically an action RPG superhero game, and I'm all for it. I love RPGs too.
Suddenly, he's like staring at the Batman shrine in the Belfry, and he's like looking at the gauntlet, thinking about the technology and how Batman used it, because he's like the most recent member of that team, and Robin's thinking to himself,
Tim Drake,
wait
right?
a minute, Batman wasn't just what was in the Batcave or just what he had on his person. It was also
smart.
his relationship and his connection to the bigger universe of these superheroes, right? The Justice League satellite. So that's kind of the moment where he goes, wait, I can tap into that. I can absolutely tap into that. And if I use it this way.
I like how their skills and the progression relates to the story. You feel me? Like, it's not just like, okay, I unlocked this ability by just grinding it. It's a part of the story. So when you get those abilities, it's tied into the story. It makes it better that way. So I get what they're doing with it. Now, I remember I was like, I didn't like that satellite teleportation shit. But the fact that the story is telling you why he does it and how he does it, I like it now. You feel me? So, yeah.
It's going to open up a set of abilities and some ways of fighting crime. And so that first moment is what opens up his heroic traversal. It's where he goes, I can do short-range teleportation. So, these are the kinds of sort of thematic links that we've tried to create with the Knighthood branch.
And alongside all of these skill trees is another menu of unlockables, momentum abilities. These amount to special attacks that can be assigned to specific button combos. Many of the momentum abilities tie into the skill trees, but they're earned differently.
In the case of the momentum abilities, you're getting those by engaging in challenges in the world. When you look at the momentum ability breakdown, in order to unlock that, I need to do the following 4 or 5 things.
The most amount of synergy between abilities in different trees actually happens between the momentum abilities tab and the rest of the trees. For example, Batgirl's beatdown is a momentum ability, but can be powered up by other abilities in her tree that allow her to do it more effectively and with.
So basically, let's say if she has a jumping attack, you could combine it. So you do a jumping attack, and then once you're in the air, you do that momentum ability, and then she jumps down and does that little shit she just did right there.
Piercing
shockwave attack.
He doesn't usually have at the start.
The developers' goals with all of these trees isn't just to tack on RPG mechanics to an action game, but to provide a legitimate sense that your heroes are growing, learning, and changing throughout the course of Gotham Knights' story. As a player, you're being asked to help create your own versions of those heroes, and the team doesn't want you to simply be able to fill out an entire skill tree on your first playthrough, encouraging you in.
See, that's what I just said. Can't you just complete all the skill tree for all of them, and basically you'll have all the abilities? So it's like, even if you play a certain way, you unlock all these skills. So it's like, everybody will play the same regardless, because everybody unlocks all these shit. So what he's saying is, through one playthrough, you won't be able to unlock all these skill trees. So it's better to work on what you like. If you like a more fast-paced character, upgrade those skills. If you like being ranged, update the marksman shit. You feel me? So you're gonna have to play the game multiple times to unlock everything, I guess is what he's saying.
Instead, to pick and choose carefully.
If you're playing
See?
through Gotham Knights
Exactly.
in a regular way, so I'm going after all of the main story arcs and I'm fighting the villain arcs, I will have unlocked most but not all of the skill tree. So your choices are always going to matter at least as far as what it takes for you to beat the story. I think players will and probably should mix and match to get the best out of the abilities in Gotham Knights. We know that players will choose ability clusters as we've arranged them in the trees because they are excited about an individual ability. But there is a lot of synergy between trees, and also you kind of have to experiment to find out what you really like. So I do expect that players will mix and match quite a lot.
If you want to know more about Gotham Knights, we have got...
So that makes the game more replayable, because then if you play one style, you're going to want to unlock a different style for that same character. Honestly, it makes it way more than replayable, because let's say there's 3 different styles for one character. You're going to want to experiment with all 3 styles, and you're going to have to beat the game, 3 times to unlock it and play that style? And then you got 4 characters with different styles for each of them, so yeah, it does make it replayable. Me, I'm more of a balanced dude. Like, I like to make sure my character is balanced, not stronger in one area than the other. I like my character to be equally strong in all areas. So I'm gonna have to see how that's gonna work for me. But yeah, I'm getting the game. So y'all let me know. Are y'all more excited for this game? Make sure y'all hit this like button and subscribe, because I will be doing videos when the game comes out and uploading it on the channel. It's your boy Dollars. I'ma holla.